Picture a typical American family living in a suburban neighborhood. Trevor Fuden, a 45-year-old man with a receding hairline and a slight paunch, considers himself in decent shape but thinks losing about 10 pounds wouldn't hurt. He's not fond of facial hair and prefers wearing contacts to glasses, still not needing reading glasses yet. Trevor is the sole breadwinner of the family, with finances having been tight in recent years. His wife, Michelle, also 45, maintains a slight belly and a figure he finds appealing, a rounded backside and a look that he personally appreciates. Michelle wears glasses and strongly prefers her full name to any shortened versions. Together, they've navigated through financial challenges, often prioritizing their daughter Ally's future. Ally, their 21-year-old daughter, is a bright college senior. While she has gained some weight since her high school volleyball days, she remains fiercely independent and vocal about women's rights. Despite her aspirations to change the world, Ally still relies heavily on her parents for financial support, particularly in avoiding student debt. She reluctantly agreed to live at home to ease the family's financial burden. Financial decisions have often revolved around Ally's education and comfort. Trevor ensured that their daughter didn't end up burdened with student loans, which led to them tightening their own belts. Michelle and Ally, however, enjoy certain luxuries. Michelle drives an expensive luxury sedan, and Ally has her own as well. These choices have affected their home equity, as they have resorted to home equity loans to finance their lifestyle. Their modest suburban home reflects their choices and the financial juggling they've done over the years. Despite the financial strains, the Fuden family maintains a strong bond and supports each other through thick and thin, navigating the complexities of family life and financial responsibility together. Our neighborhood is probably your typical suburban enclave. We have block parties a few times a year, but it's not like anyone has particularly warmed up to us or vice versa. It's just another way to spend a weekend. We're quite friendly with our immediate neighbors and a couple down the street, whose daughter Sally happens to be Ally's best friend. After Ally began college, Michelle seemed adrift. With so much of her time previously filled by activities with Ally, there was now an emptiness. Even increasing her involvement in volunteer work didn't seem to fill the void. One evening, I brought up the topic. Michelle, are you content with your life? You've distanced yourself from me and seem to have lost your enthusiasm. I miss the time we spent together and I suppose I'm feeling bored. What about us? Is there something I'm neglecting to do for you? We're fine. I don't have any grievances. Why all the questions? Michelle replied. I just want to see you happy. Perhaps you could consider seeing a counselor to help you regain balance, offer suggestions for lifting your spirits. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Now that there was a slight cooling in the air, I decided to drop the topic. However, 2 weeks later, Michelle began weekly classes with a life coach. Perhaps like me, you thought that the dynamics in our bedroom would increase, but no. We stuck to our usual bedtime routine twice a week, which had been the norm for us for a long time. I'm not complaining. I've never discussed my sex life with anyone and I don't pry into my friends' affairs. Mark and Cindy, who live to the south of me and are both in their 60s, keep to themselves mostly. Mark tends to keep his distance, while Cindy enjoys baking, and I've definitely put on some extra weight thanks to her delicious treats. I was at their place fixing their sauna pump for Mark. The part he needed had been on back order for 4 months, and this was the first pleasant weekend day since it arrived. Opportunities like this are rare in early December, so I was making the most of it. Our sliding patio door is in need of repair. It makes a grating noise when pushed open. As I heard that noise, I knew it couldn't be anyone but Ally, unless Michelle had returned from her mother's house. This was confirmed when I heard Ally speaking. He's somewhere inside, his car is still here. I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm in the backyard, sitting in the gazebo. Have you thought about it? Ally said. I paused, realizing Ellie didn't want me to overhear that conversation. Oh my God, Mom, you're so out of touch. Give Max a chance for once. Sally insists he's a pro at this, willing to go the extra mile to please you. Maybe that's exactly what you need to spice things up in our bedroom. What on earth did Michelle tell our daughter? That everything's awful in our bedroom? Are we in trouble? Michelle hasn't said a word to me about any of this. Where did this come from? Are you still sure about our daughter? This is just all wrong. I understand you need to consider it, Ally replied. Listen, Dad mentioned he's going hunting next weekend. I'll ask Jeff to invite Max over. He might be skinny, but he's into you, Ally continued. There was a moment of silence, during which my rising anger obscured my thoughts. Allow me to clarify the situation. Is my daughter attempting to set Michelle up with one of Jeff's friends? I believe it would offer you a remarkable opportunity. You can even explore. The subsequent silence might have been due to my snapping. Are these individuals, along with their offspring, scheming to sabotage my marriage? What have I done to deserve this? All right then, keep me informed. I love you too. Goodbye. I was so furious that I was perhaps fortunate not to accidentally injure myself while working with that troublesome pump. The atmosphere at home was dismal all week. I made deliberate efforts to provoke Michelle and Ally, succeeding in keeping myself occupied, mostly in my office or out in the garage. My power tools are now sharpened and gleaming. I didn't delay my hunting trip, but I had someone keep an eye on Michelle's movements. Seeing pictures of Ally, Jeff, and a skinny kid entering the house around noon on Saturday wasn't reassuring. Ally and Jeff departed around 2, while the skinny kid left at 4. Upon my late return on Sunday, Michelle, clad in sweats, attempted to be affectionate and cheerful, but I remained unaffected. Although inconclusive, I observed Michelle sitting with her legs crossed, leaning heavily to the left more than usual. Is someone's behind a little tender? Later in the kitchen, Ally sealed everyone's fate by playfully slapping Michelle's rear, leading to giggles from both. With a fake cough, I remarked, I feel a heaviness in my chest. I hope those oblivious fools I was hunting with didn't expose me to something. I'll sleep on the couch in the living room, Michelle fell for it. The next morning, I announced my plan to visit the doctor, feigning difficulty breathing. My boss didn't mind me taking the day off. I planned to feign having COVID, giving me the opportunity to hasten my departure with accrued sick leave and vacation time. I could afford the break, ensuring I'd make it to our traditional Christmas Eve dinner. Announcing a COVID diagnosis tends to scare people off. Did I actually have it? Who knows? I'm fully vaccinated and feel perfectly healthy despite a shattered heart and a desire for vengeance. Physically, I'm fine. I checked into a comfortable extended stay hotel, seeing no reason to live frugally. Michelle appeared relieved when I mentioned I'd be out of quarantine in time for Christmas Eve. She'd been calling regularly, along with her children. Instead of revealing my true intentions, I maintained politeness but pretended to be sleepy to end the calls. I spent my time devising gruesome revenge scenarios and compiling a list of changes for my finances. This included wills, beneficiaries, and emergency contacts. I hadn't realized how many ties I had with these arrangements. Searching for a new apartment was challenging and emphasized the finality of my decision to divorce Michelle and cut off financial support for Ally. I felt Jeff deserved some sort of retribution, but I was uncertain how to exact it, just as I was unsure how to confront Max about his actions. When consumed by anger, various thoughts crossed my mind, many of which could lead to legal repercussions and jeopardize my future plans. The notion of hiring an escort to ensnare Jeff stemmed from a news story I saw about a company using similar tactics to remove unwanted employees. However, I recognized that this plan would also harm Ally, albeit deservedly so. The artificial tree sparkled with twinkling red, white, and green lights, while fragrant pine